Hello, everybody. Hello, hello. YouTube says that I am live. And I'll just wait for people to come in. It is 10:04 p.m. Saturday, October 5, 2024. I can't believe it's October already. I'm drinking a hot chocolate. I'll just wait for people to get notifications. I should play some music. Let's see. Let's see what I can find. Let me see. I have some copyright-free music somewhere. I should have pulled it up already. Hello, 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 everybody. It's Saturday, October 5, 2024. I see one person. I'm trying to find some copyright-free music. I know I have it. I don't remember where I put it, though. Let's see. That is definitely not it. Let's see. Hello, it's October 5, 2024. Well, this is definitely not it. I'm trying to locate some music that is copyright free. I do have other music here, but if I play it, I'll get a strike. I'll get it removed. I'll have to remove it. Let's see. I see 3 people. Hi, everybody. It's Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. It's Saturday night. And if you can hear me, please leave a little comment in the chat if you're in the chat. Hello, everybody. I had a file that was labeled like copyright-free music. I don't know where it went. I think maybe I moved it around because I was trying to clean up my hard drive. And now I can't find it. So at some point, when a few more people come in, I'm going to be reading. I thought we'd just have a chat about the events that are taking place in the world, in the United States, in North Carolina. Talk about experiences of your stalking and harassment, where you live, like what state you live in. And then I'm going to read a chapter in the book. I've read part of this book before. It's called The Criminal Fraternity, Servants of the Lie by Soul Esprit. And I read a few chapters of it. It's a little complicated, but it's pretty good. It's a good book. But what happens is, if I read too much of it, I've noticed that YouTube demonetizes the entire chat. Like, they'll leave it up, but it won't get any revenue, which is not good because I spend a lot of time. Like, I noticed that my last couple of lives were about 2 hours. So I hope everybody's doing well. We had a pretty nice day today, except for the fact that the criminals had been on my property and tore it up again. I'm pretty sure I know who it is this time. It's a different person than the one who tore it up last October. And it's like exactly October. These people are very envious and jealous. They're very immature. But that's okay. I'll be getting them this time. So I hope everybody's doing well. If you can hear me, if you can't hear me, raise your hand or something. If you're in the chat, if you can just say hello so that I know that you can hear me. I so wish that I could add things in the chat like pictures and stuff. Like there's a little plus sign here that says engage with your audience, but it doesn't allow me to add any photos or anything. Let me see. I can add like a little smiley face. Little smiley faces. Oh, little hearts. Oh, how cute. So anyway, some people like my acronyms. You kind of have to make light sometimes of these horrible situations that we're in as targeted people. And it really is horrible. It's disgusting, despicable. And the people that they place around us are total morons. So, yeah, and also YouTube allows this to go through. Like, if I keep writing in my subject heading criminals on patrol, YouTube doesn't like that. Or I should call them they-tube. But if I put cops, wops, pops, that goes through just fine. So as long as you all know what that means, like mops is morons on patrol, wops is witches on patrol, cops is criminals on patrol, and pops, we've got 3 acronyms for pops. Pops are predators on patrol, pedos on patrol, and perverts on patrol. And they are all of those P's, PPP, they're all of those. Yes, absolutely. So it's mops, wops, cops, and pops. If you can think of another one, please leave a comment in the chat, because I'm sure you have some adorable names for your gang stalkers, for your harassers too. I mean, I'd like to hear what you call yours. So I see that there are 5 people, but nobody's like writing anything. So it could be that you're listening from your phone and you don't have access to the chat. And let me see, I'm just going to go check my email because sometimes people will email me and say, hey, like there's something up with the chat. Let's see. Okay, so I don't have an email from anybody, so that's good news that at least you guys can hear me. But anyway, this is Lorraine Alternative Homesteading. It's Saturday night, October 5, 2024. And I wanted to have a discussion about, oh my goodness, some of the things that are happening in North Carolina. I don't know if any of you guys live around there or on the East Coast, in North Carolina, South Carolina, Eastern Tennessee, Virginia, Florida, of course. A lot of people were fine, but North Carolina is reporting some horrors that the media is not letting through. There was one woman that said she called over to, I guess, a family member to make sure that they were okay. And I think it was her father, like an elder person, and he couldn't get out the front door. And the reason he couldn't get out the front door is there was a stack of unalived bodies that had floated in front of his door, and he couldn't get out. This is very, very sad. And you're not going to see this mostly in the mainstream news, but if you have TikTok accounts, there are people that are getting on there, like live from their state, from Asheville, that are discussing real horrors. And then the one that I just posted on my channel, I just listened to, and it's really horrendous, but it's sort of like never take a handout from the government. There's always strings attached. So evidently the 750 minuscule amount of money that they're offering to the people who have been displaced from their homes, etc., has some strings tied to it. It's in the very, very small print. And the only reason the guy came on to speak about it, he says, I've been trying to make this video for a while, and he's just crying. And he happens to have a friend or somebody that he knows at FEMA that told him that there is a catch to taking the $750. And that the catch is that it's a loan. It's not a give, it's not a handout. And that if they don't pay it back in 1 year, I mean, could you imagine? These people have no homes, some of them, no electricity, no food. If you don't pay it back in a year, they will confiscate your property. It's sort of like a tax. It's like it's a loan. It's like a tax loan. Hi there, everybody. Government agents on government handouts pretending to be neighbors. Do you mean like the people that they bring into the neighborhood to move into those vacant houses? Is that what you're referring to? That was like in New Jersey. As soon as my okay, great. My long-term neighbor, Andy and Chris. Now, when I lived at 52 Sutton Drive, Manalapan, New Jersey, it was a development. A development meaning like a whole grouping of houses that a builder built. And it was a highly desirable location and area. And we all kind of moved there with young children. So I moved there, and my daughter was an infant. I moved next door to my neighbor, and they had an infant and a daughter that was a few years old. And we all all of our kids grew up together. But then what happened was, as most people do when their kids grow up, they get married, they go off to college, you downsize. And that's what my neighbor did. My neighbor Andy and Chris decided to downsize and move out of state. When they listed their house for sale, now I was shocked because they're very particular, and they did a lot of nice things to their home. They swore they were not going to accept anything lower than whatever. But then they ended up accepting a price lower than I thought that they would. Their house wasn't even on the market that long. But they probably received a cash offer. That's the only thing I could think of. It's that they received a cash offer. And that's when the first perpetrator moved in. And they lived there exactly a year, like a year to the date. And then moved. Where do they move? Diagonally across the street in the exact same house, the same model, the same everything. And then the new informants, the paid informants, moved in. And that was the woman who called the cops on me for walking on my driveway. She had this total lie. Well, and Fred, I want to thank you for clarifying your comment, because at first when you made that comment under Richard Moore's interview of me, I thought you were referring to him and me, and I'm thinking, no, we're not agents. There's no. In fact, he had been in jail or prison or whatever. So yeah, like they do some nasty things to guys, really nasty things to guys. I think it's not that they don't do it to women too. They're more prone to do that to women if you're, on drugs. So that's why I tell targeted people, please, 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 like, please try to keep a clean, healthy lifestyle as much as possible. I know it's easy for me to say because I've lived my life like this, like since I'm a kid. I stopped eating meat. I don't know. I think I was like 10 years old. I'd ask my father. I really loved bacon. I mean, probably a lot of people like bacon. But my favorite sandwich in the world was bacon, lettuce, and tomato. And I remember asking my father, like, what is bacon? Like, what is it? Like, I know what lettuce is, I know what tomato is, I know what the bread is, but I had no idea what bacon was. And then he said, "It's pork." And, well, okay, so pork, like, I was clueless. Hi, Ace of Cups. I'm just telling a quick story, um, about my childhood, and my favorite sandwich was BLT, but it when he told me it was pork, I said, "Well, what's pork?" I didn't know. I mean, this was the kind of sheltered life I grew up. I said, "What's pork?" So, I think my father didn't want to tell me because he knew, like, I loved animals, and he said, "It's a pig." And I got so disturbed. I stopped eat I never ate it again. I never ate bacon again, and now if I see, like, there's a product that I want, like some soups, they'll add, like, bacon and stuff, I won't eat it. So I just stopped eating. So what the point is, targeted people, we're, like, hit with microwaves, nano dust, nanotechnology, all this garbage. We need to eat as healthy as possible, live as healthy as possible, stay off the drugs, stay off the booze and stuff. So we have people moving in around us. So when I moved to Kentucky, I mentioned I was first living on the top of the hill in my car. It was pitch black here. Nobody had any street light. Nobody. I had one light at the top of the hill. But suddenly, as soon as I moved into my house down here, suddenly my two neighbors diagonally across, like from me, one that I've never met, they suddenly have lights. One light, like a secure lot, not a security light. I don't know what they're called. It's like a street light, but they don't. They have to pay for it. Like the town will erect it, install it, but you have to pay for it on a monthly basis. And both of my neighbors have one. And the neighbor to the left of me, where I'm sitting right now, I've never met. Their property is totally overgrown. It's like a hot mess. It's an eyesore actually, and I've never seen anybody live there. I think there's somebody moved in there. Either that or they've got microwaves in there. It could be that light could be directing something in my direction because it goes right through my back window here. So this evening, I'm kind of open to discussing pretty much anything, but I do want to read something. Uh, let's see, this book that I've read from before. It's called "The Criminal Fraternity: Servants of the Lie" by Saul Esprit, and I read several chapters in the book, and I'd like to fast forward a little bit. Yes, I don't know. My Scarlet Letter video, how many views does it have? I should check. I'm so busy here. I haven't checked. Does it have a lot? I should check. Well, the Scarlet Letter I think it was an old movie or something. So some people would that would be eye-catching for some people. They might just automatically open it up, right? But then of course all my criminal neighbors are like, "Oh my goodness. She's ratting out Scarlet." Well, this is what happens. I've told people before, like, yes, I'm a targeted person and stuff, but I'm not afraid of these people. And I'm not afraid to call them out. If you want to harass me, if you want to trespass my property, and if I catch you on camera and I'm not engaging with you, well, guess what? I'm just going to spread it all over the internet. And, eventually, sort of like my other nutso neighbor ended up on neighborhood wars. So this is what targeted people have to do. If the sheriff won't prosecute them, if the judges won't prosecute them, if the county lawyer won't do anything, no, you're kidding. 333? Wait. I'm gonna have to check. Wait, give me 1 second here. Let me check. All right, 1 second. I'm gonna have to scroll down here. Let me see if I can find it here. Oh, that's the one, neurotic stalker neighbor Scarlet, and then I've got, an image, the scarlet letter. Alright, let me see. So I'm pulling it up right now, let me see here. It does! You're absolutely right, it says 333 views. Oh my goodness, 68 comments and 333 views. Well, hopefully, if I'm viewing it now, it'll turn to 334. Oh my goodness. No, I didn't see that, thank you, that's hilarious, actually. Well, I'm glad it's getting some views. I think she spells her name with 2 T's. Yeah, it says 333. All these government okay, Fred is saying all of these government handout neighbors follow the same script. My neighbor, 2 challenged me to a duel, and I tell him to stop your drama. It's their cult number. It is their cult number. 333 666. Yes. Oh, wow. I didn't realize it. I did. Oh, I found it, Ace of Cups. I found it. I really wish that we can place photos in the chat. It is their cult number. Well, you know what? From what I understand, there are people in the community that can't stand her guts either. So, she goes around spewing the name of the sheriff. Now, the sheriff that we currently have has been the sheriff since January. Before that, he was the deputy. But I'm living here 5.5 years. And for as long as I'm living here, all she's been doing is spewing her relationship with the sheriff's department and my son in law. And it turns out it's not her son in law. There's no relationship. Yes, Scarlett's like, yeah, do you know? Exactly. She's very narcissistic. She's obviously very insecure. She needs to use the names of other people to boost up her morale, to make her feel important, that she has a friend at the sheriff's department. It's just absolutely absurd. Well, guess what, Scarlett? I have friends in the mafia. How about that? Yeah, I do. Well, at least they were in the mafia. They're too old now. They're too old. But yeah, I have friends. I do. I really do. I was actually dating the nephew of a big guy. Yes, when I lived in the Bronx. I absolutely was. Hi, con artist. How you doing? It's so good to see you guys. I like making videos and stuff, but it's fun interacting like this too, because it's like when you leave comments, I don't always have time to respond to all the comments, so I'll just click like, I'll heart it or like it or whatever. But yeah, so yeah, I grew up in the Bronx, and I grew up in a very nice portion of the Bronx, and the reason it was a nice portion is because the Italian people kept it nice. They kept it nice. That's all I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say about that. Well, that's exactly right. Yeah, that's exactly right. Like, I mean, I was scared of these people. I really was, because I was like a naive, you know, girl, and I was dating the nephew, and I mean, I'm telling you, these guys were scary. I couldn't even look at them. I was so scared of them. I couldn't, and they scared the shit out of me. But when they grow up, they get older and stuff. They're different, and I actually like the guy now. I didn't like him back then, and he was handsome. Like these guys, first of all, they dress like to a pin. Like this is literally back in the day, they all dress really nicely. They were very polite. They would drink their coffee, the little pinky finger would go up in the air, and they'd have their little ring, and every hair was in place, and really they looked classy. Never. I've said this so many times before. Uh, no, the mafia. That no, back then, no, these guys. The one thing I have to say is, they had their own set of values. They would never. No, I mean, unless the woman was their wife and the wife was cheating on them. That's a whole nother story. But literally, if this guy was younger now, he would be busting heads, literally. Because the last time I spoke to him, which was a few years ago, he was like, "What did you?" He said he's like asking, like, "What did you do? Like, why is this happening to you?" I No, 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 not from Sicily. No, they were born here. Like my family was my even my Italian family was born here. Well, no, that's not true. My father was the only child that was born in the United States. My grandma, my grandpa, and his brothers and sisters were born in Italy and then came here. And my father was born in the United States. No, my family's not Sicilian. You know what? Actually, I don't know if those guys were Sicilian. I don't know. But you got to watch those Sicilians. Let me tell you. No, no, that's okay. That's okay. Um, I mean, it's interesting. I think that what happened with those guys, they're a different breed. Most of them are in their 70s, 80s. Some have passed away. They all went to prison at some point. They don't, every one of them goes to prison. Some of them get out, some of them don't get out. And, but most of them, if maybe they had children and their children are much younger, well, now they would be in their 50s, most of their children, and then they have children. So if they're in the family, some of the children of the children, grandchildren, may be involved in other activities. I don't know, or maybe they're not involved in any of those activities. I don't really know. I know that the person that I know, neither of his children got involved. And the nephew that I was dating, totally not involved at all. He was a musician. So just because you grow up in a family like that doesn't mean you're going to grow up like that, you know? A lot of them, the children cannot stand the lifestyle. They just can't stand it. But yeah, so if he were around right now, he would be kicking my neighbors' asses from here to eternity. I guarantee it. But anyway, yeah, they're little weenies around here. Like I wrote in the beginning, they're wops, mops, cops, pops. Mops is morons on patrol, cops is criminals on patrol, wops is witches on patrol, and pops, perverts on patrol, pedos on patrol, predators on patrol. Yeah, and we can call them that because that's exactly what they are. So, does anybody, before I start reading this chapter, I've got a chapter that I'd like to read. Um, Freemasonry, the religion of the legal criminal fraternity. Can you run their license plates to see who are doing circles around your property? Well, when I was out in the field taking pictures, and I have to take more photos, I have to take more photos because when my landscaper was here today, they told me that somebody had dug up the grass again. So she wanted me to take photos before they cut. So I took photos, and it's hard to see because the grass was so long, but they cut it down. So tomorrow I'm going to take photos so I'll be able to see the ruts better. But the person that cut it up this time, it's a different vehicle. I know who did it the last time. It's the guy up the block, and he had a big pickup truck, and his pickup truck had wider wheels, and they were further apart, and they dug more into the dirt. This one was like a regular pickup truck, and I have a pretty good idea that it belongs to Eddie and Scarlett Marks. I'm pretty sure it belongs to them. It might have even been their son that did it. Well, one of them did it. It was not the same person. Absolutely not the same person. So those license plates, I have not looked them up yet. The gruesome twosome. Oh, they're unbelievable. Oh, and Scarlett is a nurse, an LPN. Could you imagine? You're crime for profit, the corporation. I will. I will run those license plates. I just haven't had time. Um, by the time the grass was cut, I took photos. I was picking up branches that had fallen. I had to burn leaves. I have like this time of the year that like the property just gets really messy between leaves falling and the bitchcraft, and the bitchcraft is they take branches and put them in a circular pattern all around my property. Like they put them back to back. It's like it's a ritual. They're trying to prevent the property from selling. So they spread spiders and spider webs all over the place. So I'm going to read a little bit. I see 13 people in the chat. And excuse me, let's see. Lots of gang stalker nurses. Really? That's horrible. Well, I have to find it. I've thought about it before. When I was putting out a newsletter called the URLs for education, for learning and research. I stopped doing it about a year ago. But I remember I located an article about the Nazi unaliving nurses. They felt that they were doing a good thing. I have to find it again. Your doctors, physicians, surgeons. Horrible, horrible stuff. Oh my goodness. It's horrible. So anyway, this is page 109. And it's the Criminal Fraternity Servants of the Lie by Saul Esprit. 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 It's. I thought at first it was spirit, but it's Esprit. Oh, you worked at a hospital for 4 years. Oh, it's so interesting. Well, it's interesting because a couple of targeting books were written by people who actually worked in either a hospital or a psych ward, and they blew the whistle on things that were going on there. And some of the things that were going on in these psych hospitals is that, they give them a lot of meds. And the women would complain about their babies. So everybody would think that they were psychotic and give them more medicine. But what was happening is a lot of those women were being medicated and being, sexually assaulted and impregnated deliberately. And then they were stealing their babies in psych wards. I mean, I can't think of anything more disgusting than that. I mean, such just a horror. So anyway, this is a Freemasonry, the religion of the legal criminal fraternity. And moreover, I saw under the sun the place of judgment, that wickedness was there, and the place of righteousness, the iniquity was there. That's Ecclesiastes 3:16. So anyway, you have to understand that this book was written by a guy who posts like a lot of quotes from the Bible and other places and stuff. So I don't have to read them, but some of them correlate to whatever it is that he's writing. So the doctrines of Freemasonry consist of a body of beliefs and principles taken from ancient Egyptian mysticism. Many of these same doctrines form the basis of man's modern government. Documentation exists to prove that Freemasonry is a religion that worships Lucifer as God. You had a dream about the Freemasons last night? That's no dream. That's a nightmare. Oh, you turned up the offer of joining them. Well, good for you. You don't want to join a cult. So documentation exists to prove that Freemasonry is a religion that worships Lucifer as God. And one of the references is Morals and Dogma by Albert Pike. Government consists largely of Freemasons. Therefore, human government is Satan's religion. The legal criminal fraternity, with all its myriad of functionalities, pays homage to the devil through the institution commonly known as human civil government. It's like they were asking you to revisit your choice through a dream. Yes, Lucifer, the synagogue of Satan. During the Middle Ages, 16th to 18th centuries, in order to escape the righteous wrath of God at the hands of true Christians, witches, and Satanists use Freemasonry to mask their unpopular occult practices. Throughout the medieval Dark Ages, they hid their shame behind paganized Christianity. Besides Freemasonry, the religious vehicles of choice were Rosicrucianism and Catholicism, then, later in the 19th century, spiritualism and theosophy. These religious systems allowed occultists to openly practice their satanic rituals and bitchcraft, magic, without fear of public condemnation. Because these pagan occult religious were acceptable to the corrupted form of Christianity of that day, the practice of witchcraft kingdoms, which are political, religious, and social of this world, like their father and master Lucifer, Satan, they use it interchangeably, Lucifer / Satan. Lucifer, Bible, he will appear as angel of light, claim he is the Son of Man, Jesus Christ. Oh, hi, SCL. How are you doing? Welcome. Welcome to the chat. What I'm doing is I'm reading a chapter from the book, The Criminal Fraternity, Servants of the Light. I'm reading a section on Freemasonry. Let's see. Oh, I actually skipped a page. That's why it sounded so weird. Okay. Because these pagan occult religions were acceptable to the corrupted form of Christianity of that day, the practice of witchcraft survived to modern terms. Presently, pagan religious practices are not only tolerated in mainstream society, but accepted, welcomed, and even revered. Really? If the God-fearing true Christians of the Middle Ages would have abided by the commandments of God in Exodus 22:18, Deuteronomy 18:10, 1 Samuel 15:23, I don't know any of this, guys. I've never read the Bible. 2 Kings 9:22, Micah 5:12, and all of this stuff, then all the progeny of Satan would have been burned at the stake. not just a few token representatives. Because the remnant people of God disobeyed his commandment, the Illuminati, criminal fraternity Luciferians of ages past, have once again proliferated upon the earth, polluting the land and its people. See that? They pollute the land and its people. Freemasonry is only one among many front groups used by the Illuminati to further their various New World Order programs and agendas. Adam Weishaupt, I'll spell it Weishaupt, which is not his real name, regarded as the founder of modern Illuminism in 1776, sought to disseminate his witchcraft doctrines by infiltrating various secret societies throughout Europe. Freemasonry, because it is based upon the ancient Babylonian and Egyptian occult religions, was the perfect vehicle for expanding the influence of its Luciferian creed. Throughout the decades, Masonry functioned as a pooling ground for most of the world's occult religions, and in the modern era has been used by Satan to inculcate his LCF servants with doctrines that masquerade in the form of man-made laws and ordinances. LCF is it's the criminal fraternity. These Luciferic decrees are central to the New World Order police state of today. Now, mind you, this book is written, let me go back to when it's written. It was written several years ago. Let's see. 1 second. I think it was 2016. Let's see. 1 second, unless I'm thinking of the other book. 1 minute here. Okay, this book is written in 2014, so it's 10 years old. So in this book, he's already talking about 10 years ago the New World Order police state of today. This is 10 years ago. The political religious belief system of Masonic criminal fraternity is established upon the same witchcraft precepts brought to America from Europe and the Middle East, a Luciferian moral code that now forms the basis of all human governments. Why do they keep saying human? All human governments. Are there like inhuman governments? Are there? I don't know. Thus, the legal criminal fraternity civil government is, strictly speaking, a synthesis of a system of tyranny, civil government, with arcane, occult, religious doctrines. The government of the LCF makes much ado about the separation of church and state. That is because, as practiced liars and deceivers, they hope to promulgate the falsehood that they are not a religious organization. As already demonstrated, nothing could be further from the truth. So all my neighbors are Luciferian Satanists, right? There are 3 Freemason lodges in this small town. 3. Not 1, not 2, 3. So everybody must be in it. As already demonstrated, nothing could be further from the truth. To take one look at the elevated black-robed judge, the silent sanctuary in a courtroom, the LCF's aberrance of anything godly or having to do with true Christianity, their FEMA death camps, and BOP prison systems, BOP. I'm not sure what that is. And BOP prison system of human bondage and destruction. It should be ample proof that civil government is straight out of the pit of hell. Because occult-based legal criminals rule in the Luciferian institution known as a civil government, modern society consequently suffers satanic oppression. My town is 796 people. So in this little town, we have 3 Freemason lodges. 3. And we've got 4 5G towers. Yeah, 4 5G towers. I have no idea. I have no idea. You know, when I moved here, I never researched the area. I had researched so many other areas. There were other places that I wanted to live, but of course, I was probably directed to this area because a lot of the houses that I was interested in either sold, went off the market, and I had to find something. And I figured, oh, this is cute. I want to buy a little village. I have no idea. I should infiltrate their lodge meetings. Ha 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 ha. Oh yeah. Yeah, like they'd let me in, right? No, I wouldn't I wouldn't go near those places. That's cursed. They're cursed. Today's universal New Age social religion, Freemasonry government, is united with the Roman Catholic Church that spearheads the ecumenical movement to unify all religions into one global religion, thereby bringing together both government and religion to form Satan's political religious system known as the New World Order. Oh, you watched my interview with Richard. Oh, thank you. It was a little frustrating. I'm so glad he interviewed me, get it out there because he has a different audience than I do. You know, he pretty much like rats out corrupt cops. So I appreciate that, but it was a little frustrating because I got interrupted a lot and I lost my train of thought. um, but it was after that interview. It was after that interview that my field got torn up. So I'm pretty sure it was my neighbor, the criminal. Hi, hi Henry, how are you doing? Welcome to the chat. I just started reading a chapter from the book The Criminal Fraternity Servants of the Lie by Soul Esprit, and it's a chapter on Freemasonry. You know, it's like one of our favorite topics. The three, I call them the three Masons because they do everything in threes. So let me see here. So for a member of the LCF, there is no separating their kingdom of Luciferian government worship from the Antichrist religious kingdom of their Lord, Master Satan. 333, yes, the scarlet letter. That's, I know. That was very astute of you to see that. That's hilarious. It's not even funny, but hopefully somebody will click, somebody else will view it and it'll go up to 334. Consequently, both human civil government and the various Luciferian religions are one and the same entity. Now, I don't like this. Oh, absolutely. Oh, that's absolutely. They're involved in stalking. Oh, absolutely. So now, what this is saying is that this new world order, there is no separation of church and state. Yeah, David A is good. Yeah, I like David. Yeah. Yeah, David is a nice man. I don't like the fact that this new world order, it's absolutely their side hustle. I've been saying that. It's like their very lucrative, secretive side hustle, and they're all in on it. Well, I don't know. Well, I think that they're being paid their regular salary, right? They get phenomenal benefits. They're obviously not fighting any crime because they're stalking 60-year-old women like me and a lot of other 60, 50s, 40-year-old women. So 72% of targeted people are women. And then there are children, teenagers, men, a lot of men that live alone, a lot of divorced men. Yeah, it is definitely a lifestyle. And you know, families grow up in it. I mean, it's really interesting because I didn't know any of this growing up. Like, I grew up in a somewhat normal family, even though my parents were divorced, like, it was like I didn't learn any of this. Hi, Bora Bora. Now, can I ask you, Barbara, why do you have a 333 after your name? We were just talking about that. No, I know. I'm such a threat to national security. But I've been a threat to national security since 2009, and it just baffles the mind. It just totally baffles the mind because I didn't vote. I didn't watch TV. I was not political. Um, um, my parents were not political either. Like my mother wasn't, my father wasn't. Like we never talked politics. We weren't like religious. A lodge member, yeah. Yeah, they like to go after people that live alone, and they like to break up relationships and stuff. So, yeah, 666333. Well, um, in numerology, there are things called master numbers. It's 11, 22, and 33. Their master numbers. And it's weird. I don't remember what it is now, but there's a patent that has like a 666 in it. I don't know. I think it has something to do with Bill Gates. I don't remember. It's just I don't remember. Maybe one of you guys does. But let's see. To facilitate advancement in their career, all members of the legal criminal fraternity are encouraged to cultivate an association with the Illuminati's Masonic Brotherhood. Masonic Brotherhood. I mean, it sounds like remember when you were a kid, and let's say you wanted to make a deal with your friend, you do the little pinky handshake. That's what it sounds like. Yes, they operate when victims are isolated. That's what they're cowards. Could you imagine one on one, right? If all these little efforts down the block here, one on one, they'd never make it. Some of them act like they're CIA, but they're just wannabes. Exactly. Exactly. And they're bold and arrogant because they're being protected by the sheriff's department and the county lawyer, who's also a criminal. Yeah, they're weenies. Exactly. They're little teeny weenies. And bun babes. The bun babes and the teeny weenies. Yeah, that's why the Masons wear that apron. You can't trust a guy that's wearing an apron if he's not cooking. If he's not cooking, he should not be wearing an apron. He's covering up something. And you know what's under that apron, guys. Come on. You know what's under it. So anyway, okay, so they're encouraged to cultivate an association with the Illuminati's Masonic Brotherhood. This is accomplished via membership. So they have to become a member. And they have to pay dues in the local chapter of a Masonic lodge. And we've got 3 of them here. 3. So by doing so, they are granted the support and protection of the Brotherhood's tyrannical government. Because fellow quote unquote brothers, brothers from other mothers and fathers, and well, around here, everybody's doing with everybody. I just heard something outside. Because fellow brothers, among which are predominantly police officers, judges, attorneys, politicians, they're sworn to never betray the oath of allegiance which they made to Lucifer when yoking themselves with Freemasonry. They are careful not to oppose their own Luciferic kind. To do so would bring swift judgment, since the servants of the lie are known for their violence and merciless shedding of innocent blood, even of their own members. The number just keep. I'm stopping. I'm reading what you're writing. So throughout its long history, dating as far back as the Tower of Babel, the stated goal of Freemasonry has been to rule over the kingdoms, political, religious, and social of this world. It sounds like they're all control freaks. Like their father and master Lucifer, Satan, whom the Masons naively credit as the grand architect of the universe, they too fancy themselves to be builders of societies and civilizations. They believe themselves to be the chosen ones. Oh, see, guys, you cannot call yourselves the chosen ones because the Freemasons, the Three Masons, they think that they are the chosen ones, appointed to govern the common man, whom they look up upon as unenlightened in the mysteries of the brotherhood. I don't know, it's no mystery to me. They're psychologically abusive, they're immature, they're back in medieval times, they haven't grown, and they bow to Lucifer, Satan. It's evil. Yeah, the chosen mentals. In truth, there are no mysteries, but merely various forms of crass occultism, which the criminal fraternity Masons accept as doctrine, consistent with their own personal moral depravity. It's noteworthy to mention that only a small percentage of Masons ever come to a realization of the fact that they are, in truth, Satanists. You hear that, guys? They're Satanists. The Freemasons are Satanists. That ironic revelation is made known only to the upper degrees within the Luciferian order, beginning at the 33rd degree of Freemasonry, Scottish Rite. Within the Illuminati Brotherhood, there exist many higher degrees beyond those ascribed to Freemasonry. So-called initiates, may one day perhaps attain a higher level within the Illuminati satanic pyramid. The Bilderbergers, Club of Rome, Priory of Sion, or perhaps on rare occasion, even the Pilgrim Society or Committee of 300. Illuminati degrees higher than this are essentially closed to all but select few bloodlines of generational Satanists. Their genealogy and lineage determined by carefully maintained records of incestuous inbreeding. You hear that? Incestuous inbreeding. No, I agree. I believe that all organized religions are cult-like in nature. And actually, I'd mentioned this I don't know, maybe a month or so ago. I watched a YouTuber. I don't remember who it is right now. I'd have to go and look. But the video was on, where the question was, is the military a cult? Not not occult. Is the military a cult? And they interviewed military people, the high level military people. And it was determined that the military is a cult. Well, when you add 333 together, you get a 9. So, in numerology, you take the numbers and you reduce it to a single digit. Except if it's a master number. So a master number is 11, 22, 33, and I think sometimes a 44. And those would not be reduced. Okay, so let's see. Freemasonry is often referred to by its members as the craft. Yeah, the military is definitely a cult. And what these people did is they went through the qualities, the determining qualities of what a cult is. And based upon those qualities, how they define a cult, it was determined that the military is in fact a cult? Oh, well, that's really interesting. Oh, no, I know you're not a troll. Well, it's really interesting because, I mean, I like numbers, and 333, I like the number three. I like the number seven, like 777. You know, I like the number 11, like 1111. I see 1111 a lot. Let's see. And actually, numerologically, my life path number is a number six. Some of the military. Oh, absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Well, look at that crazy guy. What was his name? I always forget his name. I can see his face. He looks like a devil. The military, the high level military guy. He recently died, or maybe he died a year or so ago. Oh my goodness, I forget his name. He had the eyebrows that curled up at the corners. He looked like a devil. But anyway, so let's see. From this, okay, Freemasonry is often referred to by its members as the craft, a phrase that is also common in usage among practitioners of witchcraft. From this, one can obtain a glimpse of the interrelationship which exists between the many faces of evil: Freemasonry, witchcraft, Satanism, and all the world's religions except true Christianity. They're all the same basic theology, only packaged in a slightly different wrapper. As Luciferians, they're lower tier Masons, they're blue degrees. They unwittingly pay homage to the quote unquote God of this world, Lucifer, Satan, the devil. Witches, however, traditionally brainwash their recruits to deny the existence of this fallen angel, and instead they credit their demonic activity to nature gods and goddesses, nature worship, Mother Earth, Gaia, spirit deities, and feminism's principle, or little pixies and fairies prancing about the forest. Anything goes, except, of course, believing the truth of the 1611 King James Bible. The cult of Freemasonry, like witchcraft or Eastern religions such as Hinduism, is nothing more than devil worship. As already mentioned in regard to preserving their witchcraft practices throughout the period of their ethnic cleansing during the Middle Ages, the great deceiver masks the true character of Masonry with a variety of deceptive covers that serve to disguise his civil government with an outward appearance of civility and righteousness. Flying monkey, let me see. Okay, so emulating their father and master Lucifer, who dreamed of elevating himself to the status of God, so too does the various members of the LCF strive to elevate themselves to God-like social stature. They think of themselves to be exalted among humankind. They unilaterally promote themselves to deified status while seeking their own glory, and they leave a swath of death and destruction among the deceived masses who blindly rush to appease them. Some examples of groups and organizations serving as fronts to the identity of infiltrating Masonic Luciferian lurking behind them are public service and philanthropic organizations such as the charitable hospitals, the Shriners. They're the 32nd degree Masons, the Rotary Club, the Kiwanis Club, the Lions Club, the Fraternal Order of Police, the FOPs, FOP. I can think of a different name for the FOP. Oh my goodness gracious. The Moose, the Elk, the Eagle Lodges, as well as Catholicism, Protestant pseudo-Christianity, and all Eastern and Western religions, Islam, Mormonism, Jehovah's Witness, Unitarian, and all other denominational organized religions. The only exception is true Christianity, which no longer exists today in a public forum in America, but has gone underground in small groups to gather together in private homes. Many of the so-called Christian preachers in America today, and especially Baptist and Southern Baptist affiliations, they're Masons. Attorneys, politicians, and particularly judges and police are likely to be Freemasons in good standing. Some of them may even be members of a local witches' coven. You hear that? A witch's coven. Oh yeah, those Eastern Star bitches. Yeah. Those are the bun babes. Yes. The bun babes. The Eastern Star bitches. Yep. They're the ones that they mock other people. They think that they're better than anybody else. It's highly improbable that there exists any single judge in America who is not a Freemason, or that soon will be in the near future. Now that I didn't know. I didn't realize that all judges were Masons. I had no idea. Okay, I'm just going to read some of these comments in case you're not seeing them, and for people who can't see the chat. Ace of Cups says, I think these black ops require you to go through an initiation process. You have to commit a hit. Once you do, you will be caught or unalived in the system. Planetary Skid Show says, meh, smoke and mirrors, a planetary military operation for profit. I mean, it's all for profit. And from what I understand, like with the Freemasons, like they have to do stuff to elevate themselves in a position. It's sort of like back in the day, you just have to work your ass off in a job and you get promoted and get a pay raise. Not these guys. It's not even the little pinky thing anymore. Now they have to, steal things, break into people's homes. They basically have to do criminal acts. That's what they are. They're criminals. Certain states in America exhibit a pronounced Masonic presence. Texas, for instance, is known as a Masonic stronghold. It also happens to be the home of the notorious Bush crime family. Trinity Broadcasting Network, which is TBN, a Christian front group for promoting Luciferian doctrines, and the former U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson, he was a Mason that played a role. Oh, I don't know if I could say this. The JFK president that we had, how he was unalived. Let me just read this paragraph a little bit. I might not be able to read this. The state's capital, Austin of Texas, is an Illuminati testing zone for rehearing New World Order command and control militarized police state protocols. There exist several other key cities throughout America where, quote unquote, dry runs of government acts of terrorism are routinely practiced. Let's see. Let me just see what you're saying here. Ace of Cups says, in fact, you will be released and invisible, but you have to do what the Black Ops heads want. We're always on broadcast. Idiots pay money to watch everyone be tortured in some way or another. And then goes on to say, my childhood friend went through this initiation process. His name was Jean Carl Lahrkamp, Lahrkamp. You can search for his name online. He was on Canada's most wanted list because he was caught doing a hit. Then he mysteriously died in a plane crash. Oh, isn't that typical? Isn't that what they do? It's like you think they'd figure out a different skit. I mean, it's getting old now, right? That's what they do. Well, this is interesting to me because I didn't know any of this about there's certain states that have a pronounced Masonic presence, and that Texas is one of them. Typical of most occult secret societies, the religion of Freemasonry is shrouded in the use of symbolism. The familiar builder's square and compass encircling the letter G, which is a euphemism covertly denoting their god is Lucifer. The use of occult numerology, star symbols, inverted and non-inverted, pyramids and inverted triangles, Latin code words with double and triple meanings. All of this and more is intended to befuddle and mislead the uninformed public to think that the Fraternal Order of Freemasonry is anything but the old religion of witchcraft. And you wonder why they burn them at the stake? Those familiar with occult symbology can easily recognize the significance of Freemasonry's satanic character. The use of cryptic symbolism is intended to obscure the encoded meaning implicit in the symbol's ancient occult derivation. Do you know what the symbol that they use around me? It's the pi, the mathematical pi symbol. They embedded it in my car dashboard and furniture. So it must be a symbol that's used. It's definitely Freemasons targeting me, both in New Jersey and here. Is absolutely. But I think that each one of them, because they're all friggin' narcissists, they have to leave their signature behind. And I think that they choose their symbol as their signature. Let me see. I guess that I came in at the wrong time. Oh, wait. Let me just scroll up and read the chat. I get it. Okay. Okay, Planetary Skit Show says, a friend of mine was doing a quote on a house, and okay, I can't, I'm not going to be able to read this. And the guy was an attorney, deceased. Okay, I read what you said. I'm not going to say the words. In order to be anyone in society, you have to have a blemish that they can use against you in case you decide to step out of line. Oh my God, we're all humans, right? Doesn't everybody have a blemish? Every symbol must glorify Lucifer. Come on, everybody's done something wrong. Well, it depends on what you consider wrong. And who is making the judgment? Who's making the determination? And in the context of what? Okay? So I think it's absolutely absurd. And these criminals, they haven't done zillion things wrong? Oh my goodness, they're criminals. All right, let's see. Okay. To an LCF Brotherhood Luciferian, words, phrases, and symbols are employed to express the opposite meaning implied by their common usage. See, they do everything in reverse. Good is bad, bad is good, light is dark, dark is light. Further, Luciferians read from right to left. Really? That's interesting. They want a serious wrong, though. Something that they can blackmail you with for the rest of your life. Well, good luck with that. I mean, good luck with that. Further, Luciferians read. Now, this is shocking to me. They read from right to left. Now, I thought, I know that in Judaism, they read from right to left. Ancient texts and glyphs. Nearly everything they do is backward and upside down, typical of all despisers of the truth. They are contrary to God's perfect order. This transposition and reversal is to be expected, since the LCF are the antithesis of righteousness and truth. For example, the white dove presumed by the masses to be a symbol of purity and peace, to a Luciferian, it connotes corruption and death. The red rose is another of their symbols for death. The flaming torch, typically associated with the notion of liberty and freedom, is seen, for example, in the Masonics' androgynous Mother Goddess, the Statue of Liberty in New York Harbor, and at the New World Order Unity Rally, euphemistically known as the Olympic Games, is their criminal fraternity's way of symbolically proclaiming slavery and bondage to the entire world. It is slavery and bondage to them. Some other familiar examples of Masonic reversals are the five-pointed star, a powerful occult symbol known to Satanists as the pentagram. Which is proudly displayed on the Fraternal Order of Police emblem and various police paraphernalia, such as the Sheriff's Badge, the U.S. Marshal's Badge, sides of police cars, and on the U.S. flag. Really? It's on the U.S. flag? When inverted, the star becomes the Baphomet, also known as the goat head of Mendes, a principal deity for Satanists. The star symbolism used by the LCF Luciferians is derived from the names of several ancient Greek and Roman goddesses: Astarte, Astaroth, Ishtar, and others, all of which are merely different names for Lucifer. He is androgynous. Other illustrations of the satanic use of star symbols are the national flag of Israel, as well as the logo for many Illuminati-owned corporations such as Texaco and Chrysler. The Masonic LCF does not limit its influence to politics, religion, and big business, however, but it plays an integral role in all facets of modern society. For example, the satanic inverted triangle in Hellfire Flaming Red is known predominantly displayed as the YMCA symbol. The logo, YMCA, is on a triangle, an upside down triangle. One comment is, there is no Lucifer or God or Satan, just banking system that plays God with all of us. Well, they're definitely playing. They think that they're God, which implies that they're all malignant narcissists, right? There are a multitude of other symbols and coded words and phrases used by the Masonic Brotherhood to covertly signal to fellow initiates the presence or influence of their worldwide occult order. Black-robed satanic high priests, otherwise known as courtroom judges, while ceremoniously elevated above their citizen victims in a surrogate throne room, are known to cryptically flash hand signals to their Brotherhood attorneys and the occasional Masonic brother defendant, who most assuredly will be acquitted by his fellow oath-bound partners in crime. Printed on the back of the U.S. paper currency, the phrases, "In God We Trust," does not refer to the holy God of the Christian Bible, but rather to the criminal fraternity's unholy god Lucifer, also known as Satan the Devil. Whenever legal criminals use the term God or Christ, they're not referring to God of heaven or to Jesus Christ of Nazareth, but to Lucifer and the Antichrist of their global dictatorial New World Order Luciferian society. Another example of a common misconception regarding satanic reversal of meaning is when the LCF uses the term public. In its typical usage, what they actually mean is government. Consider, for example, the sentence, "for the safety of the public," and to protect the public from attacks. Congress has passed legislation to ban private ownership of guns. The true meaning of this propaganda is, quote, for the safety of the government and to protect LCF agents of the government from any citizens righteous enough to rise up and oppose their tyranny. Congress has passed legislation to ban private ownership of guns. The spiritually dead, lacking godly wisdom and discernment, cannot know that human governments care nothing for the public, but function solely to perpetrate their own, I'm not going to say the word, it starts with the letter T, it has two R's in it, agenda. Let me see what you're saying. Man is too clumsy to form such huge death system. Take something more advanced than clumsy man. Attorney, tort, law, torture, pay, pain, suffering, soul. Let's see. Tort is to twist. Dollar equals dolor, D-O-L-O-R, pain. Lawyer, absolutely. Lawyer equals liar. Peace equals pax, P-A-X. Yeah, lawyer, it sounds just like liar. Pax is Roman for peace. Oh, okay. Interesting. The twisted, dark mind of the legal criminal, it mocks the unwary masses by thinly concealing their evil deeds and intentions with Luciferian symbolism. As a further example, consider their. Okay, I don't think I'm going to be able to talk about this. They're talking about a pill, like commonly known as RU486. And the cryptic message can be deciphered to read R, like asking the question, are you for 86? In occult speak, the number 86 is code for DEATH. Okay, so this is really interesting. So the RU, the letter R, letter U, 486, is a pill that, how do I reword this? Unalived children in utero. To get my drift. And their cryptic message is deciphered to read the question, are you for 86? And in occult speak, the number 86 means DEATH. By facilitating the mass unaliving of millions of infants, the medical criminal fraternity is literally scoffing at pregnant women when boldly asking them, are you for DEATH? Therefore, all those future mothers who take the pharmakeia, sorcery pill, have consented to unaliving their own unborn child. In like manner, the injected subcutaneous mark of the beast microchip will be accompanied by a cryptic code which the spiritually undiscerning will unwittingly submit to and acknowledge. By their tacit agreement with the beast, whether in letter or in spirit, they have already given their informed consent to the Luciferic initiation. In a naivete, they will have irrevocably damned their souls for eternity. And in characteristic boastful pride, the Masonic Brotherhood likes to broadcast their dominion over society by openly displaying their ownership symbols in public. LCF Luciferians take perverse pride in exhibiting in plain view occult geometric shapes and secret code words with multiple esoteric satanic meanings. Virtually all their major corporations and government institutions around the world employ their logo, an insignia that masks ownership by Lucifer's people. So a short list of some of the more conspicuous examples of common satanic logos are Mobil Oil and Lucent Technologies' fiery red circle, which is the Ouroboros, symbolizing Satan, the red dragon, swallowing his tail. Target, department store circle with the point in the middle, a key Freemasonry symbol, the central point designating the Illuminati. Then there's British Petroleum and Dole's sunburst, denoting Luciferian sun god worship. Standard Oil's freedom, the slavery torch. Mercedes-Benz, the broken cross of Calvary, signifying the Luciferian dream of destroying Christianity. Then there's Phillips 66 and the 666 cryptic logo used by General Electric, Gateway Computer, and the Trilateral Commission, Citron, Citgo, and Arco's top downward view of an occult pyramid. The pentagram star, which divides Walmart, presently changed to a witchcraft six-pointed hexagram. The blood color-coded Red Cross, which is the charitable facet of the Order of St. John of Jerusalem, the site of Jesus. ISIS worshipping occult secret society. Fidelity Investments pyramid capstone, and the pyramid with the all-seeing eye of Lucifer on the back of the US $1 bill, and the reverse side of the Great Seal of the United States of America. In the center of the dollar bill, in the largest type, is the word one, intended to signify one world by the Luciferian globalists who designed the artwork in 1782 in their drive for all nations to be divested of national sovereignty and to create single global currency. Their plan is for the world to become a united nation handed over to one individual, a world dictator, the Antichrist. The scroll in the Masonic eagle's beak bears the cryptic Latin phrase E pluribus unum, which translates to English, out of many, one. Again, this crypto code demonstrates their plans for global unification. The Latin cryptic phrase Annuit Corpus means announcing our endeavor. Present-day Masonic disinformation protests that the English translation for annuit is not announcing, but rather Providence favors. The Illuminati must think that there is no one able to translate Latin into English. The Latin cryptic phrase found immediately beneath it, which is Novus Ordo Seclorum, means New Order of the Ages. Together, these two phrases are Illuminati code for announcing our New World Order. It's right on the dollar bill. The LCF Luciferians announced it in plain view on the most common of their fiat currency. And the public thought that their government was being sophisticated when citing a Latin phrase. No, they were being deceptive when using occult symbolism and an unfamiliar language to disguise their plans for world unification. Look closely at the front of the seal emblem to the right. I'm looking at, there's a photo of it here, 1 second. And note the number of arrows in the Masonic eagle's talons. Okay, I need a magnifying glass here, 1 second. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Is that 13? It's 13. All right, 1 second. and count the levels of brick comprising the occult pyramid. 13. Where's the pyramid? Right, 1 second. And also the number of letters in the Latin phrase annuit copus is 13. All this is Luciferian numerology intended to convey occult significance and is meant to be understood only by those privy to Masonic witchcraft. Contrary to popular disinformation, there's a little bug here.